Okay, time being 7 o'clock, this meeting is called to order, please. Do we have a roll call when you're ready?
Frank, Hanson,
Here.
Headley,
Here.
Clemish,
Here.
Michael,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Healy,
Here.
Harns.
Here.
Okay. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes from the previous meetings we have in our packet?
Move approval. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Do we have any items to be added to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Can we have an approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I don't have any issue with the agenda. I think at 7:15, I'm gonna ask that we postpone the amended discussion until after the class review.
I disagree with that. We got quite a few people that showed up and want to talk about that tonight.
Well, I know, but we also have.
Yeah, it was on the agenda. I guess that I was informed that, people asked me and I said, be here at 7:05.
Somebody's gonna have to read either way.
Follow the agenda. How many classes we have? We have 6.
I think we're gonna be here for quite a while with the changes discussion. And I think people wait a half hour is better than having applicants wait for 3 hours. But we can move on. I'll make a motion if it fails.
Deb, what's your thought on that? Is this how it is?
Well, your 7:05 is not your public comment at 7:05. Public comment is listed at 7:45 at the end. So my recommendation would be to follow the times that are set. So whatever happens from 7:05 to 7:15, but at 7:15 should address who's scheduled at 7:15, and then 7:45 go back to who's ever left.
So is that 7:05 when we have to vote yes or no, or what's the public comment?
It doesn't say anything about voting at 7:05.
Say anything about public comment in the agenda?
Yep, at the very end at 7:45.
The agenda says 7:45.
After the applicant.
So we used to have public comment
We usually
at most.
have public comment.
At the beginning.
Well, yeah, but it's not listed that way on the to-do agenda. But we usually have public comment then. But you're right, I mean, with the way it's sort of worded out here.
I would suggest we take public comment during, related to the changes during the change of the hearing. The changes.
We could
And
take,
this comment is just a generic public comment. Is what I would say.
we could take 7:05, we could take comment until 7:15, and then go through all of these. And anybody wants to say for item 7:45, public discussion on running issues, we can discuss it then. Would that be appropriate?
Well, it's up to you, but that's,
what the agenda says.
And then, we can either take action or not. at 7:45.
So you're saying we'll switch back to public comment at 7:40, even if we're not done with the plats?
Yeah, well, I would say from now until 7:15, we could hear from you guys all. 7:15, continue with the agenda as it is, for these people who have the hearing. Then when we get to 7:45, you'll have time for other people, and then at the end of that, we can make our decision. That's okay with you guys. I think the terminal solution would that work for everyone?
Either way, I think we need a motion to postpone the discussion until the end of these applicants. I'm just giving a heads up that I'm gonna make that motion.
So you're planning on having just discussion until 7:15 and then proceeding with the agenda until we get to 7:40.
Well, until we are done with the applicants that are here for different reasons.
We can do that class.
Class will be done.
Sounds good.
All right,
I just proceed. Well, it's not a change. I would move approval of the agenda.
okay,
I'll second that.
okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. Do we have any conflict of interest declarations? You need to state your name and say yes or no, if you would please. Paul?
Paul Harms, no.
Zane?
Same way, no.
Dan?
Dan Fleming, no.
Joe?
No.
Donna?
No.
Yeah, she's here now. Doug?
No.
Christy Schultz, no. Greg Hansen?
Greg Hansen, no.
And Dennis Michael.
Dennis Michael, no.
All right, that's done. Okay. Recommendation for proposed amendments to Yankton County Ordinance 20, Article 5, Agricultural District. Okay, so those were put online. We've been working on this for about a year. We've had several working meetings before we made several concessions on both sides, and this is the draft that we came up with after hours and hours of work.
Madam Chairman, this is Dennis.
Yes.
Michael. I realize that I know that we've gone through this an awful lot. I'll talk about it. I don't think we ever really reached consensus, especially on animal units. And then I still have a real problem with some of the things that come in, and I guess maybe legal counsel can help us on that, but one of the operational plan, when someone comes in with a conditional use to apply for a conditional use permit to build a livestock feeding operation, the change the operational plan for manure collection, storage, treatment, and use shall be kept updated and implemented. And with the answer to that, interim management plan must be submitted to and approved by SB's South Florida DNR prior to the county permit application. Interim management plan will list all fields and acres that are in the interim management plan. Can you tell us where you at? There's no page number on this. It's in the
Second.
what section? 519, I think.
Yep, it'll be 5 minutes.
You gotta thumb through it a little bit. At the top of the page, there's number 7 and all that's all scratched out. On the left-hand side. Okay. And then down at the bottom, there's an A, or there's an operational plan. Okay. Thank you. Got that? Okay. Okay, but anyway, so it's all land in the nutrient management plan that is not owned by the applicant shall have no easement required to the county permit application. I have a real issue with that, and so the fact that when you go in and record an easement, that goes on to that property. If I come in and apply for that conditional use and I do not receive that conditional use, I still have easements on that person's property for another application. That stays with that property for a lifetime, so that means that that gentleman, if my permit isn't approved and someone next to him comes in and applies for one and gets it approved, they cannot use his land because I own it.
And we had both argued against that, to have that prior to giving any permitting also. It's a foolish move, I feel, because if you're gonna spend all this money and not knowing you're going to get approved.
Are you talking the easement or the nutrient management?
No, I think the nutrient management plan is fine after you get a permit. Why would you get it before?
How do you know if your applications are following county guidelines?
Remember we had the discussion.
Our setbacks are different than the state setbacks for wells, lakes, rivers, and streams. So how are we supposed to know that they're following the setbacks if we don't even have a plan in place?
But the nutrient management plan can be submitted.
Okay, but he did on it, and when Kent Woodmansey was in, he said, we don't look at county setbacks. If county setbacks are different than the state, which they are, they don't even look at it. If it meets the state standards, which are Waxahachie or the Yankton counties, they approve it. So how are you gonna approve a nutrient management plan that doesn't even exist? And that's one of the requirements right now that we have.
So how do you handle the easement part of it?
Well, a good example is one of the bonds we did up in Janesville that we approved. Okay, and the young man had most of his field in management. He didn't know. What happens when those fields get sold? Now he's hauling manure 10, 15 miles. That's not good for him. That's not good for the neighborhood.
But you still have easement on that property.
Well, he didn't have
With that property,
didn't have
whether it's sold or not.
where is he supposed to put that manure if he doesn't know? And that's similar to how other operations in Yankton County do it now. They do have manure.
That's also part of the contentious part about coming out into the country and going and getting easements from all the gentlemen out here and then turn around brokering the permit to somebody else. I understand that brokering permits are illegal, but so is owning the easements if you're brokering the easements. That was also part of the thing way back when this all started about brokering easements. Well, I've got an easement to Zang's land, I'll let you apply your permit. And the owner didn't have any choice because that was, you held the easement on that, you held control of that easement.
Question, can you tie the easement to just this permit? Yeah, is that?
I don't know that. I mean, the $64 million question here is, you know, professional.
Well, it would be because it's part of the nutrient management.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it would be just this, the easement for the manure easement only apply to this application.
Right.
To this particular piece.
Then how does that report at the county level? I mean, if you go in and I go in and get 10 easements from 10 of my neighbors to do this.
It's recorded at the state level in the nutrient management.
but
It's already recorded there.
It makes a difference if you put it in the county that's going to decide whether you get an additional use.
You're saying if it's recorded on the title of the property.
If it's recorded on the title, it's
So
there.
you apply for a permit. You previously, part of the permit, you had to get an easement, and then you're denied the permit. That's it.
The easement doesn't go away.
We'll go with it.
It's like a dedicated roadie.
So you could do a contingent on your application. We got all kinds of, we got all kinds of purchase agreements and conditional uses that say
The conditional use though, yeah, this is an easement.
okay, but
But you can
it's the
have
same
it.
thing when we did those variances out on on that dealer plant on 81, that was all on condition of them getting that easement for that. We did the same thing with that, and then when we did that commercial property on Highway 50, those were all conditional on them getting.
Yeah, and you can put conditions on these.
So what this is saying is you have to have that recorded easement in hand before you even come to the office and ask for it. So the ink is dry on that easement by the time you come in for it.
Right, but if you put into the easement language that it is contingent on you having a conditional use permit for Kinko, if you don't get it, it's not allowed.
I think we should have a legal
Easement is
counsel,
not-
this is way above my
the easement is
pay
not
grade.
allowed.
I have a note to research it.
I think that needs to be looked into legally. I don't think any of us, no offense, but I don't have. a-
See, that's why I'm asking,
Yeah,
because I don't know.
I don't either.
But I do know there is language in contracts that something is all conditional on other standards that come in. So if you have a conditional easement, it doesn't go into effect until it's passed. If it fails, you don't have the easement. That's the way I think it is, you know,
But that is also Paul, where we need to make sure that that's how that all works. I mean, when you go ahead and write this in your bylaws, it's not set in stone between anybody in this room that's smart enough to know that. That's what we have to do.
That's right, that's what I said, let's get it above my pay grade.
Well, wouldn't the terms of the easement be up to the,
From a neighbor the other day, it's the statute 2110-25-2. When you're talking about, this is about certain agricultural operations being protected, but any agricultural operation protected pursuant to the provisions of this section, I don't want that part. But what it's saying is that they still have to accord to county law, even going through these state statutes, the county law, the county laws are still is what is the environmental codes, laws and regulations are met by this agricultural operation. You still have to meet them. No matter the state is what saying, even like you're saying, getting the permits and all this stuff, the DNRs, it still goes back to, we still have to follow the local laws, no matter what the DNR says.
But who enforces that?
What's that? Who enforces, how do we know when we say we've up from 300 animals, do you fly over my place every day knowing that I got 300 head of cattle today and tomorrow morning I get in 5 pop-ups and I all of a sudden at 800?
Nobody does that.
No.
You know, I look at here, our drainage ordinance, we require easements. We don't require them to be filed with the county. So if I'm running a tile across your land, I have to get an easement from you prior to my application being approved. I would say, knowing that the form that was handed out did not meet the legal requirements to be filed at the register of deeds, I said 95% of those don't get filed. Anyway. So I think there's a workaround.
Well, I think the problem is though, the fact is though that at some point, when it becomes a push and shove situation where, okay, I have easements on his property, or, you know, put manure on it, and I come and I get this approved, and all of a sudden, if it's not recorded legally, and when he gets mad at me for cutting his fence or something like that, the easement's gone, and all of a sudden it throws the whole conditional use
But
permit.
you'd have a copy of that easement. You would have a copy of that.
Well, I understand that.
Right, so, I mean,
But
you
the-
have
but-
your legal copy.
But the point is if it's not, if it's not filed, it's his word against mine that I got.
But that's
No,
not
I-
on this
that's not
board,
an
no,
easement.
that's the personal responsibility things.
And I would pass 715, but yeah, thank you. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to postpone this discussion until the conclusion of the Jim Bond area.
All right. All those in favor? Or we can, we need to second.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, so roll call vote, made a motion, you got a second? I'll postpone the discussion until we're through with our.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Heavily,
Yeah.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
No.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms.
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, so we will come back to the Yankton County ordinance change discussion following the last applicant, which would be Jim By, is on the agenda
We
for
got
7.
lots of.
We can do that after.
Class after.
It'd be quick, but however you want to do.
Okay. The Jim By variance and plat, those of you who have an agenda in your hand, you can also look it up online if you don't have it printed out. At 7:15, we have P.R. Olson III, conditional use permit. Applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for an increase in the maximum accessory structure size. Said property is legally described as within second edition in the northwest quarter of section 6, T93 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, and the in government lots 1 and 2 of the southwest quarter of section 31, T94 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. Less lot H1 and lot H1 and H2, hereinafter referred to as the South Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. The 911 address is 43425 South Dakota Highway 50, Yankton, South Dakota. And if you could state your name for the record, sir.
Good evening. Listen. Third.
Okay, so you want to make an existing building bigger?
Yeah.
Or you're going to do a different building?
No,
Existing
this is a
building
little
bigger.
addition, 14-foot addition.
Okay.
So how tall is this building gonna be?
The existing building is 12 foot tall. This can be the same height.
Be the same height as these other ones?
I'm gonna put I've got a carport off to the east side, and I would basically put a carport off to the west side and
So we just changed all these.
That's why he's here for conditional use.
Well, you have quite a number of buildings there already.
Yeah.
So he's just exceeding the
Right.
2,400 square foot. You've got plenty of room to do it. How many acres?
I've got 10 acres.
10 acres.
Yeah, 10 acres.
That's you got it set there.
I don't have any other questions. Anybody else?
I know.
So
We
he's
could
got
see what-
enough space around.
see what-
Does anyone online, Greg or Donna, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
All right, thank you. Okay, is anyone in the audience here to speak on this issue? Okay,
Yeah. We shouldn't need you, but we're not done.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
any discussion or a motion from the board?
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote when you're ready.
Hanson,
Yes.
Heavily,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Carnes,
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. All right, Shawnee Schlitz, Tacky, variance and plat. Applicant is requesting a variance of the minimum lot requirement from 20 acres to 12.516 acres, and a variance of minimum lot width from 500 feet to 370.78 on the south lot line in an agricultural district. Said property is legally described as proposed Shawnee's addition in the southeast quarter of section 22, T96 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM in Yankton County. South Dakota referred to as Jamesville Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. Is there someone here to speak on this application?
I guess I can speak.
And if you could state your name, please.
Tony Hughes. This is just farm ground that she's selling and I'm purchasing.
Okay.
Staying as a
You want to retain the pasture ground or whatever.
correct. She's on a retained pasture to sell farm ground.
Tony, this is on an established farmstead?
There's an abandoned farmstead there.
How long?
How long has it been abandoned?
100 years?
10 years.
Who does it? Your parents?
Yes.
Oh, Tacky's or
Jerry Movers.
Jerry Buick. Okay. Buildings there?
Not much.
But there is remnants in the farm.
Yes,
The remaining farms that,
which she will keep. This is just bare farm ground.
and that the remaining farms that exceed the 20 acres, it's the farmable land that you want to separate off that.
She's selling the farm ground off of and retaining ownership of pasture.
So, there's no original farmstead on the place that you're gonna be buying.
Correct. Yeah. It's just bare farm ground.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I have a problem with taking land out of ag use and for acreage.
It's stating ag. Just sentence. He's only buying the farm ground.
That's
You're buying the farm. Oh, no, I got it all backwards. I'm sorry. Then I don't have a problem. You're not gonna build a house there, then I have a problem.
It's staying as farm ground. Nothing
Oh.
wrong
I'll make a vote.
Wait, we have to have public input.
Whole different cat.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? No? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Okay, hearing none from the audience, did Donna or Greg, did you have any other questions for the applicant?
No questions.
No
Okay.
question.
All right, thank
Madam
you.
Chairman, I move approval of the variance request.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second to approve?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote when you're ready. Oh, further discussion, yes. Go ahead.
I have no issue, I think just with it being a variance. Barely go through, I think, through the variance process, there's the application would produce undue hardship, but I guess I would say, as it does, if you look at the drainage and lay of land, clearly ag land, farmable and pastures. And, you know, it's not shared by other property, be due to the lay of the land, things of that nature. It's gonna remain ag land. I think we're following the intent of the ordinance. And, not gonna keep on moving, so I think we should have some of that. At least that, we discussed this. That's all I.
Well, he meets all the guidelines and it's gonna stay in ag and there's no
Right.
problems with the location, there's no problems with the neighbors. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement, so I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add before we ask for a vote?
No comments.
Motion, second.
Yeah, a motion and a second, so go ahead and fix a roll call vote. Right.
Heavily,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay, next item on the agenda is Scott Walter for a conditional use permit. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a manufactured home in a moderate density residential zone. Said property is legally described as Lot 2 of Block 2, Pioneer Hills Edition of Section 17, 293 North, Range 56 West. Hereinafter referred to as Utica South Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. The 891 address is 153 Clark Trail, Yankton, South.
Madam Chair, before we move forward on that, you didn't make a motion on the plat for tax splits.
Oh, okay.
Approval of the Shauna Shields, plat.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote, you ready? Thank you for bringing that up.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Heavily.
Yes.
So if you could state your name for the record, sir.
Scott Walter.
All right, Scott, so tell us what you'd like to do.
I'd like to put a manufactured home on the property I purchased.
Setbacks and everything on that? How big is the piece of land you're doing now?
63 acres.
And there's no variance request, just a CUP for.
Replacement.
Pursuant to section 707, number 7.
Correct. So are you aware of section 57 of the ordinance that requires manufactured home? Performance, they got shingle.
Yes, yes. Sided, yes. And that it just has a picture show on that. I'm looking at it, to show you that it has all that stuff.
Okay. And do you have a driveway?
There's a driveway entrance there, yes.
Oh.
I have plans to put it on a foundation in a few years. Gary, did you see any issue with this?
I did not. Reason, yeah, like you said, it came in is originally they were calling it a modular home and we found out it was actually manufactured, so they had to come in for conditional use.
All right, do we have any other questions for him before I ask for public input?
So when we issue these CUPs, I mean, it basically does, all these things are gonna be met, hopefully. You have to go out and inspect that, Gary?
I did not.
Who does, I mean, when we're talking about issuing CUPs and stuff, I'm just trying to correlate who enforces.
Well, basically, yeah, we get whatever submitted for plans into the office, and that's what's based on.
Okay. Just wondering how the process works. I don't
Well,
care.
it'll have to be inspect, not the whole property, but, I mean, an electrician has to put it up. So you will inspect it, make sure.
No, I'm just looking at different things. You have to have piers and you know, cross footings and stuff, and that's what you have to put them anywhere. They'll all it out. But I was just wondering how the process goes for a house versus something in the ag. So just a conversation.
Is there a picture, Gary, submitted when it's all done?
When it's all done,
Yeah.
generally not. It's usually just the building plans themselves and what's a module. Like in this case, you've seen the picture of the site, but generally only building plans.
Does the assessor's office do that?
They do go out and when they go out to assess and they take pictures.
Okay.
All right, any other questions from the board before I ask your public?
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this particular agenda item? Okay, Greg, Donna, do you have anything you want to ask? Before we have.
No, none.
All right, thank you. So, do we have any additional questions for him before we move forward with the motion? Here's the, I imagine you will have to take care of your own garbage?
Yes.
As anyone that lives in the country has to do.
It's in R2. Not against the Yes, as long as he's following section 1507.
Yeah, and you'll have your own septic system there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are various other manufactured homes on that parcel currently. Yeah, in the area.
So it's conducive to the, to the. All right.
I move to accept.
Okay.
Second.
All right, We have a motion and a second to approve this conditional use permit. Roll call vote, really?
Michael?
Yeah.
Schultz?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes.
Frame?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Clemish?
Yes.
Motion approved. All right, next item on the agenda, Neil Lang, conditional use permit. Applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a campground in the Lakeside Commercial District. Said property is legally described as the east half of the west half of the north half of the northwest border, except for the north 590 feet, well, 690 feet, excuse me, thereof, and further accepting the highway right of way in section 15, 393 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota, hereinafter referred to as Utica South Township, County of Yankton, state of South Dakota. The E91 address is to be determined, West 8th Street, Yankton, South Dakota. Mother, thank you. Thank you.
Folks, I grabbed the wrong folder. You got the deal.
I sure do.
Great.
How many tabs are you gonna have?
From 70 to
How many?
70 to 83.
Sounds like similar to the, or to the east.
It's gonna be just exactly like it could show you.
Are you gonna have year-round residents?
No.
That's one of the feedback I got, is one of the people who was really telling me that there's no year-round residents. He's not gonna do that anyway, so.
There's two out there right now. They've been out there, everything's been working all right. No, I don't want to do that.
So right under the picture that we have, this one here shows two property owners to the north where this, proposed facility is. What's the access to that property?
It has to be the one on the top.
Yeah, I think those
So
come
this is
off,
above the hill?
I think those come off 11. The 11, those I guess the gloves.
Right, there's no access.
Okay, I just, without seeing a picture of the property picture, the address of the show. Where the hill stops and the, right.
Right next to the other one, that we approved a few years ago.
Actually, I had in the folder, the old one too, and put them together. And just,
No, it looks like you did a good job on.
Yeah,
that
looks
other one.
nice.
That was at the board when you approved it. Oh, yeah, that's. Looks like you keep it pretty full.
it's full. Everybody's a good people.
Okay.
What are you gonna use, septic system? Are you gonna have another one for this campground, but is the one you built?
The new one was
Just like the.
So it'll have its own.
no, not at all.
Yeah, it looks like it's addressed on the.
This property has a service road that accesses the highway. It's not direct access right to the highway.
There is a service road on the other side of the lake on this property.
But I mean, none of these, the campground, this is what you're proposing, that doesn't directly access Highway 52.
Yes,
It
could, on the west end.
on the west end.
Yeah.
You doing dirt work out there right now?
Just started boxes, yeah.
Next to the laser bar?
Pardon?
Next to the laser bar?
Yeah, yeah.
All of the guidelines for the campground. The previous one was very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. you did a nice
I've
job.
had a lot of compliments on it, right?
And there's definitely a demand for it.
I got a lot of people who live sites for next year that just heard on it, possibly people.
Does anybody have any other questions for me?
This tree, some bushes along the highway looks like.
There is not any beach on the highway.
Are you gonna have a fence or anything along the
I'll
highway?
continue that. Eventually, I
The one that you have.
And the tree, just like what's down there.
You're just gonna continue that on.
You should put that in that conditional use then. To have that fence line and tree line.
He's gonna do it anyway.
No, I know, but it's,
That's a good thing.
we've had instances where a lot of people are gonna do a lot of things.
Well, sir, it's gonna be a while. before we get it. It'll be a while before I get the fence done.
But I think, how long?
I don't know.
I mean, unfortunately, so we get, we
It'll
put these,
definitely get put in.
and it doesn't look very nice. I know exactly what you mean. I think it should be put it in there.
2 years.
Yeah. I think we ought to have some kind of a timeline.
Well, you can include that in the motion once I ask for comment.
I think we should have. Sure.
Any other questions for him, Greg or Donna?
No, thank you.
All right,
No, I think, but it is important that we do specify when the fence and screening will be done.
yep. Yep, we'll do that. All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward and speak on this agenda item? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion, I want to contain that we have to have some kind of limitation on that. Just say a 2 year, 2 or 3, what do you guys think?
I tell you, okay, go ahead, whatever you want to put in there. My word is as good as any.
Oh, I know.
Put it as soon as I can, and hopefully it'll be put in within 2 years. If the property looks way better.
Say 3 years. Let's go 3 years is fine. Let's
Can
go 3 years.
you add in no year-round residents in there?
Yeah,
Example,
so-
we just, that's the feeling I'm getting, it's not yours, of course, but
You
there
know,
are some campgrounds that are filling up with year-round residents. that-
What's the definition?
Well, I realize that, I think if we have that as a condition, I realize I put the definition of campground residents, but I would like that. That's the feedback I got from people in that area. They're fine with it. They just don't want to do that. He's just running it.
I agree with that. Something happened when we talked about it, there was something else ends up like that. There's not on that. Permit.
It is, yeah, I agree. And that's why I want that fence put on there. It's not so much I don't trust you, but life goes on, things happen.
Okay, so put it in a formal motion with a 3-year time recommendation.
So I recommend the approval of this conditional use permit, with a 3-year time limit on building the fence and the trees, and to include no permanent, or no year-round residents.
I'll second that one.
You have a motion and a second. I will call a vote when you're ready. Thank you.
Michael,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harn,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hebley,
Yes.
Clemish.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
There is one thing I should mention. The bookkeeper, the one doing the books out there, she was, and she's not living there now, but they had their own family, and they were living out there. It worked out good when they were, so.
They were like the watchman.
They were the bookkeeper and their job.
And the watchman.
Right, yeah.
It's a little different.
That's different.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Employee.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda. Jim By, variance and plat. Applicant is requesting a variance of the minimum lot requirement from 20 acres to 3.5 plus or minus acres, and a variance on the minimum lot width from 500 feet to 390.46 feet in an agricultural district. Said property is legally described as proposed Jim By tract 1 being in the north 390.46 feet, of the east 390.46 feet, of the east quarter, of the northeast quarter of section 27, T93 north, range 54 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. Hereafter referred to as Gayville Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. The E911 address is to be determined 450th Avenue, Gayville, South Dakota. All right. Can you state your name, please?
Jim By.
Thank you, Jim. All right, so tell us your plans.
Bucking out and getting a son-in-law to move home, trying to run the farm, and they want to build a little farmstead there in the corner. They about all they can afford right now, and they buy out acreage, and someday they own the rest of it when his wife does it or whatever.
And financing. Demands a smaller lot. And so you've got financial reasons, I'm assuming that's for the loan?
Yeah, kids.
Right. Is a common.
Yeah, there's no previous building site here, this is Bear Line.
There, yeah.
Is your son-in-law farming with you?
I'm hoping so, because he says.
And so you will own, the surrounding acreage?
Yes, we do.
So is that little corner with the homestead in there already, that you said was your land, so that's
Okay,
not.
well, this is to the side.
Oh,
North,
that's
on the north side.
All right, so if it's right on a road, then it has ingress, egress?
Yes.
You own this other 20 acres, Jim, or is it the buying trust, or is it?
No, I own there's 58 acres in that parcel. 58.
I'm not gonna kid you, I have a problem with this. I have a problem with building a house on bare land with nothing else. I know you're a farmer, and you hope for him to come back. Dennis at one time had made a proposal on some of these things to, how you word that about that 20 acres?
Well, they had to own the 20 acres, but they would be given an exemption or area for a smaller parcel for 2 acres or 3 acres in this case, just to handle, so that they could finance it and plot it separately away from it. But they still had to have ownership in 20 acres surrounding it, so that house is still tied to that 20 acres. Strictly for financing purposes, it could be plotted separately. You didn't have to plot it as 20 acres.
Right, but then you're actually taking it out of ag, which is against
Right.
the concept in the first place.
Well, the only thing is that 20 acres can be leased back to the farm. But it's still, that 20 acres still stays with that acreage, so all of a sudden, we don't have these clusters of these houses coming built out there.
Isn't this exactly what we want? We want a
We
young
want to
family
bring them
moving back.
I want them to come back, but that wasn't the answer that I got.
Well, he's here to farm with us, yes.
Oh, yes. You said that.
He knows he can work with us there and.
And it's different, right?
In and out.
If it's money, if they're gonna work with you, but you said you hoped.
Well, who wouldn't want to move back?
I would in a heartbeat.
I mean, I'm getting tired of this game.
So am I.
I mean, old stuff anymore.
In the last 5 years, we've approved.
No, I-
90 exactly like this.
Not on bare ground, no.
Well, I just, this is exactly what we want, a young farm family. moving
I agree
in,
with
building a
you
house,
100%.
I don't.
I agree. I was just asking some questions that I have problems with.
We got a family of 4 kids.
They'll be in the school district, everybody owns it, and it's not, he would buy the 20 acres, but the bank won't give him a loan.
I've had that conversation with several bankers, and I don't agree with that.
Well, it's true, if you have to go out and if you want to get the best rate available.
If you want to do it for thousands more a year, and you
That's
just.
right, yeah, I agree.
Right?
The best rate available, but it's not saying they won't find it.
But he wants to pay thousands of dollars more a year. It doesn't make
For the most part, you own it someday. I think their situation. Whether you're out here, you track that land up, and
I think that Freddie Mac and some of them will come and buy them up. That deal.
They only buy out the small, you don't want one.
Because they're darn hard to sell.
They are.
Because you got a limited market, and you can afford $500,000.
I'll say that since I've been involved in planning and zoning, we have granted a lot of variances for, well, for houses and whatnot, but it's either been an existing farmstead or there's been 20 acres, making it some parcel for that.
Right.
I don't own any more homestead. I'm doing what I can.
And he wants to be close to his father-in-law. I mean, he could probably buy a farmstead 20 miles away, but that's a long ways away.
I don't disagree. I said, day one, I don't agree with how that ordinance reads in the ordinance.
This is exactly the problem with a 20-acre minimum, is even farmers might want to sell less than 20 acres to their own family. There's no guarantee they're going to farm, but because they say maybe they're going to farm, then Zane, you're okay with that? But there's no guarantee. He could sell that next year to somebody else. He could decide he doesn't want to farm. So, and I'm not picking on you necessarily, but you can't prove. Somebody can say they're going to do anything, but unless it's in writing or we have, it doesn't matter. And this is the problem with 20 acres. It shouldn't matter if you're going to farm or not going to farm. If you want to live in the country and have an acreage, you should be able to have an acreage. It doesn't matter what you're going to do or maybe you're going to do. I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'm gonna get public input, and then I will take that motion under consideration. Okay? All right, any other questions for him before I ask for public input from the board? All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this issue? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion from the board.
Make a motion to approve the variance.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote.
Further discussion.
Sure.
I think this is exactly what, we want in Yankton County. This is excellent economic growth. We have a young farm family wanting to move back. Help out his father now. What a great thing. More kids going to our local school. Good thing.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from personal experience, it is difficult to get a loan on 20 acres. We did that when my dad sold his farm, and they wanted 40% down. Well, we didn't have 40% down. We were lucky that we were able to buy a contractor deed, but not everybody has that opportunity. But we wouldn't have been able to buy it at all if we were not able to negotiate a contract. The financial concerns are real.
I'm just trying to keep it so dog.
I understand your philosophy. I understand. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call when you're ready, please.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
No.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Heavily,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Okay, motion carried.
Need a motion on the plat also.
Oh, yeah. Can we have a motion to approve the plat, please?
That's a move.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
No.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Heavily,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
Yeah.
Schultz.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna go back to the ag ordinance change, or the proposed changes. And then we'll come back to.
I would suggest we open it up to public comments. Not just private here.
Take a 5-minute break and then we'll open it up. Okay, all those approved?
Aye.
This is how we're gonna go through the public input for this agenda item on the ordinance changes. Each person gets 3 minutes, and that is for that person only. You're not gonna say, I'm gonna give my 3 minutes to Joe, or I'm gonna give my 3 minutes to John, or whatever. It's 3 minutes per person. So, should I just start off with the public comment?
Well, I'm a timer.
All right.
And when you hear that, you're done. No more talking.
All right, so who wants to start?
When does the clock start?
As soon as you would say your name.
Name's Mike Sherman. Thank you for hearing me tonight.
Sure.
I have a business west of Yankton called Frontier Mills. Tonight you gave permits out for young farmers to come back home. But at the same time, we're talking about restricting that operation to the buys to expand in order to maintain that young family. That's why I'm opposed to what you're attempting to do. I've worked with these guys, I've been in business out there going on 40 years, and that's been our goal, is to help these family farms stay in business on a small scale. So I hope you reconsider what you're attempting, especially at this time, in the middle of this pandemic. I understand change is going on, but to do it now, a lot of you ran on transparency issues. Let's be transparent, and let's bring it when there's a time when others can bring their opinion across. So I want to thank you, and I also want to invite any of you to come out to the mill. I'd be glad to give you a tour. There's more there than what it looks like from the road. We have 15 employees. We literally serve hundreds and hundreds of local farmers. So I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you. Let's go next.
Hey, Jerry. Mr. Hill. I am in favor of the proposed changes to Article 5 and the associated definition. Since the beginning of this so-called CAFO controversy, a huge number of county citizens have been accused of being anti-farming, anti-ag, and anti-CAFO. Nothing could be further from the truth. I do not believe anyone has ever expressed the attitude of no CAFOs anywhere. County citizens are not opposed to CAFOs. Rather, they are opposed to the negative consequences of the manner in which CAFOs have been approved and built in this county. The consequences of CAFOs being constructed under existing laws do not impact all the CAFO owners and operators, but instead impact county citizens living near CAFOs. The consequences include the destruction of property rights, the destruction of property values, the dramatic increase in fly population, the deep diseases that flies transmit, the destruction of air quality, and the toxic dust given off from CAFOs. In this country, our Constitution, the Supreme Court of the land, gives us more political, religious, financial, social, and personal freedom than can be found in any country on the face of the earth. However, federal, state, and local laws must be written and acted and enforced within the constraints of the Judeo-Christian morals and ethics upon which our Constitution is based. Under existing county laws, a Class F CAFO can be sited within 75 feet from the property line. Because too many homes are located close to property lines, residents can wake up and find a CAFO being constructed from 80 to 90 feet from their home. Or worse yet, finding a CAFO being constructed on both sides of their home. In my opinion, the actions of the previous P&Z and the previous DOA were not only irresponsible, but immoral in allowing people 75 feet from property line. Someone with whom most of us are quite familiar once said, and I quote, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," unquote. Apparently, the members of the former P&Z and the former BOA would like to have someone construct a CAFO next to their home. Thank you.
Next person. State your name, please.
Jim Beecher from Gayville. Thanks for the chance to come out and visit with you this evening. A good, pretty sharp guy told me a long, long time ago that it's not good zoning if it doesn't affect everybody, and if it doesn't make everybody just a little bit mad. So, and I think it can be done. I mean, you look at Lincoln, Minnehaha, and Rickies counties. Minnehaha County, more than 10 times as many people as we got here in Yankton County, more than 10 times as much livestock, and yet they, because of thoughtful zoning, get along a lot better and have a lot less litigious environment than we have here in Yankton. So I think it can be done, but like I say, it needs to be thoughtful, and I think it needs to respect everybody. And I just gonna throw a bone at my neighbor over here because he's a great friend and a great neighbor and got a great young couple coming home to the farm with them, and I'm very excited about that. But, you know, they were granted a variance here with a fair amount of ease, and I would hope the same thought would go to a livestock producer that was looking to bring a kid in as well. Shout out to all the livestock producers, a handful we got left in Yankton County. I would say half of them are here. And they're not here because they're permitted operations or because they're thinking about growing tomorrow. They understand the consequences of that fork in the road when they have to bring a kid back into the operation, or maybe they want to sell their operation. And we want to make sure that the door is still open here. And, you know, I brought up some points last month, and I hope they got some consideration. But we're just optimistic that maybe we can pull this thing back to the middle a little bit and give ourselves some excitement for the future as well. Thank you.
Hey, Jim, may I ask you a question? So what would you recommend we do different? A lot of people are saying we don't like this. Give us an idea that's better than we have. Well, I mean, and you understand, you know, 75 feet is that car right out there from somebody's property. I mean, do you agree is 75 feet too close, or is that just the price people have to pay for living in the country?
Well, I think if you look at what's going on in those other counties, I mean, it's ag districts are ag and residential. But I thought Dennis Michael made a really good point last month in that, you know, if you're going to build on a small plot in the country, you know, you need to help pay for the setback. I mean, if you need to go on 20 acres or 40 acres, and that's you guys' policy to decide. But it's not really fair to the neighbors if they have to comply with a setback and that person only has 20. So it's just like the point I made last month, I would love to see if they're going to have a small plot in the country, that they would have to sign a right to farm covenant or something to that effect because
Or the same setback.
Okay.
I'd ask that we keep public comment.
Yeah.
One thing, Dan, between us, one thing I've suggested at every meeting, to leave the classes the way they are and go to a quarter-mile setback. I do not believe in the 75-foot setback. I don't.
You voted for it on Dale's farm. You voted for it on Dale's farm.
Yes, I did, and I was wrong on that.
Okay.
And we both made mistakes. I did. I don't disagree with that.
Next person.
But I did on one other one also, yeah.
Derek Collins, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I just want you to think of,
Live in county?
yes, you have.
Okay. Thank you.
Want you to think of what your definition of a family farm would be, and what these propositions are, you guys are looking to move forward with, are they going to be detrimental to it? Just like you've seen tonight, who doesn't want their kid to come back and, you know, if they have some extra money, or they come up with some extra money, why wouldn't let them buy some cows, sheep, pigs, chickens, whatever. Now you're gonna have to go through all this permitting process just to be able to include somebody in the ownership of the, from my understanding. So I don't think it's really right for anybody that it's not farm. And you're out in an ag district, it's gonna stink, it's gonna be a lot of noise. The weatherman's talking a blizzard, and you got 160 acres of combine yet, you're gonna go until you can't sleep. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next person.
It's Carl Shank from Mission Hill. I'll just take you guys through my last week. I got down to the farm with my girlfriend. She's from Austin, Texas. She wants to come back with me and find a place around here to live and farm with my family. I was showing her the corn, and it's looking awesome. It's looking like a record crop, you know. And then 5 o'clock hit that day. Hailstorm came, 80 miles an hour. 100 or 760 acres of corn, there's not gonna be a year out there. You know, I sat down with my dad the next day and I was talking about, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, and he said, the livestock can get us through. That's why you're a diverse operation. You know, if we restrict agriculture in this county to the point where these small farms can't add that second income to their operation, how are they gonna get out of these hard times? You know, the past 2 years we battled a hard spring. This year we're battling drought and Mission Hill area, hail and wind. You know, we need to have that other revenue source so that our young farmers and our farmers can get out of these tough times and that they can survive. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next person.
Hi, Trevor Hansen from Irene, Living County. I'm gonna go off one here, and Carl just said, I'm a young producer. My fiance is with me tonight, so I'm proud. We're moving back. We want to make a living farming, but in this environment, it's extremely difficult. And with your proposal, I want to be a pure seed stock producer. I can't do that on 40 cows. Trying to build a herd, trying to increase that, it will be extremely difficult, extremely hard to do with also the way it's stated right now. So I do not agree with it. And then currently work off the farm, the ag retail sector, and you know, whenever I talk to customers about times like this, getting advice on how to start out, they've always said livestock, the cattle, the hogs have got us through. They got us through the hard times, no matter what, whether it was weather or commodity prices. So I wanted you to take that into consideration after what's today. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next person.
Kevin Huber, Mayfield Township. Just wondering how many animal units I have on my farm according to you people. Who's gonna decide it? And when do I have to be re-permitted?
Okay, if your grandfather did, your grandfather did.
Did you hear what I said? How many do I have and when do I have to be re-permitted? You can't ask my question. They need to find out. How many animals do I have? You don't know, but somewhere, if someone says, did I increase too much, did I fall into a new deal? And if you said I'm grandfathered in, that means I can have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. What does that mean? Okay, that's now in the deal. I read some of it, I haven't read it all. But I think it's really ignorant on your part if you said no pumping of manure for the right of way. There's nothing better than if you have a barn here and you let a pipe in the ditch, go through a couple culverts, keep the trucks off the road, save our roads, don't block traffic. That does not seem very smart to me. Now, last thing I want to say is, whoever put this agenda together, to start out with a good discussion at 7:05, come back at 7:45, discussion, and it doesn't say anywhere on here about voting. So I don't see where you guys can have a vote, because it does not say that in the agenda.
Thank you.
Next person.
You'll note 44317 303rd Street. I would like to see the setbacks, what you're proposing, for the fact that I have already 75 feet from my house. I have a barn 1/3 of a mile from my house. I would like to see those setbacks, say that half a mile. I'd like to see, try to have less problems with where flies, rodents, those kind of things. And I really think in the future, if we're gonna have problems with those kind of things, that we should look at line pits for burials, as they do in Iowa, works well. Then you don't have any flies, you don't have any running trucks, you don't have any problems. Thank you.
Good evening. I think I'm far enough from home. Too much easier for me to speak without my mask. and I'm only wearing it. I was not sick, I'm only wearing it. My name is Mary Jo Bowder. I'm from Tyndall. I'm a former zoning board member, 18 years actually, and now I'm serving my first term as commissioner in Bonneville County. I cover District 1, which is basically the Scotland area, the northeast area. I'm going to say 90% plus of the CAFOs in Bonneville County are in my district. So I pretty much hear it all. I want to tell you what's going on in our area now, but I am not speaking as a commissioner. I'm speaking as a citizen in Bonneville. Right now, we have 2 hog barns going up north of Tyndall. One is between 1/4 to 1/3 of a mile from one residence, and I'm going to guess possibly 3/4 of a mile from the other residence. That I do not know for sure. These buildings are being built by farmers, producers. Neither one of them is less than a mile from their residences. I feel for this young family, the ones that are just 1/4 to 1/3 of a mile away. They have 3 children. I'm going to guess 10, 4, and 2. I'm going to guess. I'm going to tell you their life will never be the same. Their lives will never be the same. They live on a gravel road. The hog barn is on a gravel road. I know you've heard it all about dust and smell and blah, blah, blah. I know you've heard it all over and over and over. I know you've heard they won't be able to open their windows. They won't be able to hang clothes out on the line. The kids won't be able to be out in the yard. I know you've heard it all. I know that, and I speak from personal experience because of a barn very near to me. There may be days when the pit is being emptied, you won't stand to be in your own yard. When the trucks are hauling feed, hogs, whatever, kids won't be able to be out in the yard, won't be able to be out on the road biking or walking the dog or whatever. These things happen. It just happens. I would like to know who and why somebody has the right to take that away from them. From me, from any of you, who has the right to take that away from them? I have grandchildren near the Twin Cities. I don't know what I would do if they came out and they couldn't enjoy the farm life. You know, the calves, the cats, anything and everything. I don't know what I would do. It just isn't fair. And I am not against. You won't give me one more minute? No. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sandy Williams. And one of the things we just recently heard is how terrible it is that my grandchildren can't come back to the farm and play outside. My grandchildren come back to the farm and they love the fact that they can get dirty, that they can pet animals, that they can have fun, that they're not contained. Oh, you can't cross because that's someone else's yard. So when I hear all the things ag producers take away from acreage owners, let's remember this is an ag district where people earn their living by raising livestock, by raising grain, by making things dirty and messy. It's a messy business. But why is it okay for an acreage owner to take away a farmer's opportunity for a livelihood, to pay their bills? Why is that okay? Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm an acreage owner. I want to have my piece of heaven. What you're doing with this is you're creating an environment where you're taking away someone else's livelihood. Someone's livelihood. not the fact that they can't put clothes on the clothesline. Come on, who puts clothes on the clothesline anyway? Do you? Do you? Your wife doesn't. I bet, you probably do.
I do.
And you know what?
Today, before I came over here.
And you'll come home, and what happens when you get a wood tick crawling in your bed and bite you, and you get Lyme's disease?
Yes,
You should be the farmers, all. So, why is it okay to take, how can you take that away from me? How can you take somebody's livelihood away? That's what I would like to ask. Thank you.
We got some balling. I heard this 75 feet away of setback is terrible. I have a nursery. It's for small pigs. The setback for that was 75 feet. It is 196 feet from the front door of my house to the front door of the nursery. The house and the nursery is actually a little closer than that. And as far as I know, that is the closest one to anybody's residence around. Number two, as far as, oh God, I can't take the grandkids out. My grandkids come over, and the biggest problem I have is fighting with the 2-year-olds that they have to take a shower before they go in to play with the pigs.
Stop for a minute. We're not going to make personal attacks against something someone said. Okay, we're just gonna.
I just was.
I understand, but I just want to keep it calm. Go ahead.
And what right, who decides, who's the financial wizard that decided, well, you could have this many pigs, cows, pigs, elephants, whatever you want to have, and it won't be enough to make a living, but that's all you can have because we don't want anybody to have more than somebody else, because then they feel bad. There used to be a country where you went out and you did things better than everybody else. And now we can't because we'll offend somebody. And as far as the quality of life, they don't like the way I feed hogs, that's fine. Add up how many animals they feed during the course of the year. Most of them don't have any. So how would you like to live on the person that doesn't raise any food? Try that, living on that for a year. This is called progress and modernization. I'm going to quit right now, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next person.
Retired, Marinol Township. My big concern is the grandfather again. He's go through, will that get changed someday? At one time, there was a proposal, if I'm not wrong, that if you didn't have livestock on the farm for a year, that you have to get re-permitted, which would be horrible. In our situation, we have 2 boys in the military and a daughter in college. I drop over tomorrow morning feeding cattle. My wife doesn't be smart enough to have the cattle sold in a week. She can't do it. So, or what if she wants to sell the farm in 30 years? Is it grandfathered in for 30 years? Without livestock?
1 year. That state's gonna be. Okay.
So it's 1 year without livestock, and you'd have to be re-permitted. Is that the county, or is that? Yes.
I'll just ask you what that statute.
Statute 2110-25-2. Certain agricultural operations, protections. I haven't ever read it, so.
That's it.
What?
That's it. Oh, it says you cannot take it away from a farmer that's not been.
So, you know, that's the big thing I'm really concerned about. You know, is, or what if they don't want to come back and really want to sell a farm for a year? And it's not grandfathered in, where I was.
20 years, guys, what it would be like?
1 What if the bank don't give you the money for 1 year?
Well, I would think that you could come and ask the board about it, and they might take that into consideration.
They might take it into consideration, they might not. I mean, that one is the worst one I've ever heard in 1 year. I mean, you can't do that to us. There's people that have had whatever type of job, and they say 20 years later, they're 45 years old, say, yeah, Dad, I want to come back to farm now. And the dad said, well, hell, I put them at 65 and farms after 5 years. Why can't you just leave a grandfather in? You talking about a grandfather? Grandfather won't shit 1 year.
Madam Chair, do you mind if I read Article 16?
Sure.
Yeah. So this is what the ordinance says, Bruce, and it's not specific to agriculture, it's all non-conforming uses. So if I had a lot in an R1 district that was 1 acre, and now the R1 district is 5 acre lot minimum, I'm not conforming. What this says, if any such non-conforming use of land ceases for any reason for a period of more than 1 year, any subsequent use of such land shall conform to the regulations specified by this ordinance for the district in which such land is located. So essentially, whatever the use is out of use for 1 year, then it becomes compliant with what this says.
Or they
That's
come
what the-
back and give them.
Well, that's how you come in and forth. But that's what's currently in the ordinance. It is 1 year though.
You know, I think another concern.
Okay, let's.
Keep going with public comments. Keep going with public comments.
Yeah, let's try to get people they can vote no. Can you keep passing that? As well? Okay, who else would like to speak? Please come forward.
Brandon Oswald, Beale Township. I guess my suggestion would be to keep the definition of agriculture broad spectrum. As soon as we start to limit anything on paper, and restrict the ability that people have to make their living or their lifestyle, start getting into some pretty muddy water. I recently graduated college. Life goal would be to farm full time with my family. Realistically, not the case. I found a job in town, I'm able to farm on the side. And realistically, livestock is the only gateway into that dream right now. Commodity prices the way they are, land prices the way they are. It's cheap feed, I guess, but we start putting too many rules on how we can do this. It takes away a lot of chances for a lot of good people to come back into the community that might get tied up in the jobs, might move away. It'd just be a really good idea, I think, to keep this definition friendly to not just a certain sector, but pretty wide spectrum.
Thank you.
Okay, would someone else like to speak? Is there anyone else that'd like to come forward and speak?
done? Looks that way. I think we're good. Yep. I think we're good.
Okay. Last call. All right, time for public input is now closed. So we can address some of the concerns. First of all, we are not stopping someone from earning a living. What we are doing is making it safe for everyone in the county. And we're putting in some safeguards so that the neighbors have the right to breathe clean air, to have clean water, and a little bit of extra regulation does not stop someone from earning a living. What you do have to respect is the neighbor's right to having clean air to breathe and clean water to drink and enjoy their property. So we've done a lot of discussion and a lot of give and take when we came to this consensus on the changes that we have before us. This has been a year in the making. This was not something that we decided a week ago or a month ago. We've been working on this for a long time. And as far as pipes in the ditch, it's illegal to put newer pipes in the ditch. So that's state statute. The legislature decided that already. So that's not something that we could do even if we wanted to.
There's towers, got pipeline all over that area. It's all
Okay,
5 or 6 miles.
the time is over. They're not.
Well, I'm not sure what you're saying is true.
Now, could you give me a number of the state statute? I didn't realize it. I see it too in other counties. Yes, but I just
Well,
want to.
maybe in other counties, but it's state statute, no, you're not supposed to have.
What
So
number?
it's I don't have it here. No, I shouldn't. I'm not psychic. I'm not gonna know what people are gonna have objections to. So. Anyway.
I believe in a lot of this discussion. And certainly what we were making a comment about the air quality of life and all that different things. It's a very subjective point of the fact that who determines what it is. I don't know, we don't have staff that go out and check the air. I mean, on any given day, if you've got any kind of livestock around, there's going to be days that there's going to be snow. Who does who's the border police? You know, in that sense.
This is why we need guidelines and we need some restrictions so that it doesn't become an issue, so that people can live in the country and people can farm in the country, and people can make a living in the country, and they can coexist in peace. That's the goal here.
I understand that. The same goal has to apply to all that.
It is.
When the crop fair goes back to my voice, it's very small person in the yard.
Well, you have recourse to that. If you know who's doing it, you can get separation.
Who regulates this? Who's gonna make the call?
It has to be the homeowner. You know, and the idea of this is to make it so that everybody can live in peace, so that we don't have to have neighbors suing neighbors. We're trying to avoid that. We're just trying to ask people to be responsible. And we're not saying that every person, we've actually loosened some restrictions because as the ordinance was before, that people were worried if they had one chicken or one FHA hat or something that they're gonna need a permit. And you don't need a DENR permit for everything. That's only about animal needs before you need that DENR permit. I think it went to class D.
200, wasn't it?
You're for a CUP.
Right.
Right.
Davison County said that for a long time.
Yeah.
500 animal units for breeding.
So if you wanna have 50 cows, you can have 50 cows. Well, you can have 49 cows. Before you need to do anything. When you get 50 cows, you come in and you say, okay, I've got 50 to 199 animal units, and you say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do with the manure. This is my manure management plan. You don't have to get a DNR permit for that. You just tell us what your plans are. You say, this is what I'm gonna do with the manure. You get a permit, and you take care of your animals.
I don't know if this has ever been brought up, so what's the recourse if they don't? Is there a set, I mean, I truthfully don't know.
What's the recourse now? I mean, right now, or is there a way to reach one animal unit? I mean,
No, I wouldn't.
You're saying what's the recourse if they got 301 animals and no, well, technically it would be section 17, I think. So we're $200 a day.
And they're not gonna come and count your cows. They're not gonna come and count your cows. But if you say you've got 50 cows and all of a sudden there's 1,000 cows out there, somebody's gonna be not gonna do it.
About 250.
Once you just follow along, when it becomes.
How many animal units do I have? How many animal units do I have?
Well, tell me.
No, you tell me. If I increase, when did I get in trouble? You're the one making the law. You're the one that's gonna enforce it. That's why there's ignorance in this. You need to put a number on the property so we know.
So in other words, we shouldn't trust you?
But if the neighbor is the one complaining, and he says, I went too many, how many animal units do I have, so I know when I need to be permitted? And on that piece of paper, I said, that farm at one time had 1,000 animals on it, it's inheritable, it stays with the farm, not according to your zone. You read the state statute, and I hope you took the time to read it. It says that's inheritable and transferable, and does not ever leave. If it was not a nuisance for 1 year, it cannot be deemed a nuisance later.
There is a difference, okay, between nuisance and.
The definition of nuisance, when you read the state statute, is talking about a problem. It says that farm is allotted them animals that they would ever put there.
Right, but county law can be more restrictive than state law.
If you read what it says, yes, it can, but that's when you get permitted stuff. It stays with the farm. Now that, when does Bruce Hyrix need a permit? When does Gavin need a permit? When does Mr. Cease need a permit? Who's gonna tell us when that number triggers? Nobody knows if I had 400 at one time, or if it's 200, or like Bruce said, if he dies and he's got this farm with feedlots all over, and Jody works in town and his kids are in the service for 2 more years, make a home lot farm, and he's got room for 400, 500, 600 head, whatever he's got. And now he's got to come in, they got to get permit, and somebody at Broomtree doesn't want to steal our feedlot there.
And that's no different than it is today.
Except that he's not grandfathered in now. By your statement, you said 1 year without cattle, he has to get permitted.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, none of that's changed.
None of that's changed.
I mean, the answer to the question is, no, nobody's up to policing and driving around. It would be if you have whatever, let's take today's animal units, you have 299 head of cattle, you go buy a pot load, you would need to come in and get CUP for that next class, whenever you jump an animal class.
That's only
What
if it's
is-
an AFO. That's only if it's an AFO.
Right.
If it meets the definition, but it's the vast majority of people who raise cattle and put them out on pasture don't meet the definition of an AFO in the first.
No, but any feedlot, the manure runs off the yard automatically.
But that's the state rules.
Is okay, you're right, that's okay, though.
So, but that's the state rules.
That's
not-
right, we're going by the numbers that the county's putting together now. They're accurate.
So, but in that case, you know, the state could declare you a AFO, but you could still not meet the definition of an AFO as our zoning ordinance is right now.
I know, but when do I move up to a new permit? At what number of cattle? Like
300 increase.
Are you an AFO? Are you an animal feeding?
Absolutely.
There was 300 animal increase from what your present is. Nobody knows.
What's my present?
No, it's.
699.
It's according to how many are in the class. The bumps in.
Right, but I thought that the old,
That was the old one.
300 had increase from where you were.
Right, but that's the old one. That's what's being stricken. Talking about the classes.
Kevin, are you asking somebody to come out and count your cows?
What's that, Greg?
Are you asking somebody to come out and count your cows? I'm just curious.
Yes, I am, because I'd like to know how many I can have and what I gotta do. I mean, this is so stupid about the ordinance.
Well, I mean, I'm being sarcastic a little bit, but what would the difference between now and if these proposed changes got approved, would it still, you wouldn't still know what your number was? Is that what you're saying? What would be the difference?
So what I'm saying is, if I don't need a permit today because I'm at this number and the next day I get 50 more, I'm supposed to come in, get a permit from the county and work with you. At these low numbers, it don't even make sense. And if I take 1 year off because I had a heart attack and then I got back in, I'm supposed to come in and get a permit because I want to go back and having 100 cows again and feeding a couple hundred head of cattle. It makes no sense. My farm is there, I have bump lines there, I have pit silos there. I should not have to come in every other year if I decide to take a year off. And I want to send it to my son or sell it.
I think with Greg's point or question though, that has changed.
No.
Well, someone just said we could increase 300 before, and now they're saying we can't increase 300. What is the rule in there?
There's still a threshold though. I mean, let's say you have 999 and you go get 10 cattle that you're feeding. Now if the state kicks in.
Right.
Well, let's say I had
It's
250.
it's upon you to.
Let's say I had 250, want to go to 350.
You're still in the same class at that point.
Well, depends on where we land, but the point is it's upon the landowner to follow it.
I know that, but who's going to enforce it? When you make laws that are only going to get enforced through complaints, it makes no sense.
The bulk of this book is nobody's checking.
But what if you are the one person they check?
Well, it's like getting caught speeding. If you're the one guy that gets caught, you know, everybody's speeding, but if one guy gets caught, that's it's no different. Everybody could drive across the bridge overloaded, but the guy that gets caught is the guy that gets caught. It doesn't mean the rules aren't there.
Well, the option would be raise your taxes, we hire somebody to check everyone. We don't want to do that.
I'm not disagreeing with you,
law
Kevin.
by changing my number.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that it's the same. The number that's proposed is changing, but it's no different than how it states, how it's read today.
But there's more regulations. And if you lower the numbers for regulation, so it does change.
What I'm saying is that your question of how many you have and when you need to get a permit has not changed. The number has changed, but the answer to your question is when you do classes. It's always been that way. That's how it is.
but before we could increase by 300.
Or we would change classes, or we would change classes.
Old class used to be 399.
Right. 309.
That's 399. Which is a nice sized class for the average farmer.
Right.
Well, you don't need a DNR permit until you get 500 in. So
I think it's
you're still covered. All right.
No, it is. No.
We've already had the time for public input, so this is supposed to be discussion time for us and vote.
A vote for,
what we have here.
but that isn't on the agenda.
Yes, it is on the agenda.
That we're gonna
It
vote
says
on.
recommendation and proposed amendments for Yankton County Ordinance Article 5 Agricultural District. That is on the agenda.
Can we focus on what we do agree on? Do we agree on section 503? Where I haven't heard anybody talk against that section 503 where we're adding two-family dwellings, farm ranches and orchards. We're crossing out accessory agricultural structures, and the reason being, there was a question on, the farmer wants to build a garage. Can go ahead, are you saying something great? I think we all agreed on that, and then swimming pools, correct?
Yep.
Nobody has any issue with 503 at all? And we're all in agreement on 513, correct? Where we add the sewer and sanitary requirement, and we strike out 3 and 5. And we're all in agreement on section 517. Correct. And 520, are we all in agreement for that? Just the other stuff. I mean, there are a lot of things that we do agree on. Sounds like some people, and I can understand, they want to guarantee that this only affects new operations. So would it help if we put something in there that, this setbacks only apply to new operations? Would that alleviate people's concern? Would that alleviate your concerns with the setbacks? Well, I know, but.
But they wouldn't, we're not gonna be after a year. That's our plea.
Would that help? The new rules only apply to new operations doing this. Is that something that's palatable to you?
As long as the farm can stay grandfathered.
Yeah.
But not, you don't work. And I guess I got a big problem with 1 year.
How many years of work?
40.
No.
I mean, you want a bump line and silos, and your wife is sitting there, and she wants to sell this farm, and it's a huge cattle operation that hasn't had cattle on it for 10 years. Now she wants to sell it, and you're saying they can't be guaranteed a permit on it?
I believe Carter County State 5 years.
See, and I want to explain something to you guys that maybe just, I know a little bit, Bruce, our neighbors. So we've got actually a house big there, the new house. She bought 40 acres, she can do whatever she wants with it. But so he goes out and he has a heart attack, and his 2 boys are in the service. And all of a sudden, I'm not sure of the setbacks of it for the size of it. They say, okay, your operation is null and void now because there's that new house there. See what I'm getting at? that the feeding operation was there, it's sitting empty for 3 years, whatever, or says, can they come in for a CUP and this person that built this new house, and why I oppose this, because I have a new house here. What's gonna take precedence? You see my drift?
I do. but
What if you make
that's
it
what
clear on
life
it and it
changes.
stays in for 14 more years?
Nobody is guaranteed what's gonna happen after they're gone. We can't guarantee.
No, but for our family, you don't realize we have maybe $250,000 just in feed lines and that's what the fences invested in that we make our living on every day. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you see, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, it is empty for 10 years.
No, not 10.
Oh, 5, fuck, it's 5 years.
Now, you can sell it to a family member?
Hopefully. But
Okay, if it's a family member, I think this group would take that into consideration, I hope so. What, if it's some guy from California who wants to buy the land, not here to set up a hunting preserve? No.
You know, we're not talking about, I'm not talking about getting back into livestock.
And after 5 years.
They can build whatever they want to if they buy land, well, according to our law.
Can somebody give me an example where
It's happened.
somebody, that has even happened in Yankton County, where somebody's come in and been denied a permit for that? I've been on the board for 5 years, and I cannot remember that ever happened.
You guys been around a lot of
What is
Has anybody heard of that?
What Zane is saying is who takes precedence? The guy that put in $500,000 in his feeding cattle operation, or the person that poured out a $500,000 house? Which one?
And a grandfather, what we feel is a safe grandfathered situation.
I didn't need a permit for 75 cows. Now, I might. That's why we didn't need to apply for a
You
permit.
don't need a DNR permit. All you gotta do is come into us, say, I have 75 cows, they're in pens, this is what I do for the new one.
I did not say DNR permit, I said a permit.
Well,
That's what we need, right? From the Yankton County, a permit. That's what I said.
all right. Any other discussion from the board on what we've been working on for 4 months?
The only question I have is we need to.
If we want to stretch that grandfather to 2 years, 3 years, you said 5?
Council, can I ask you a question? How does the grandfathering, I've heard other council members say grandfather is a very gray area, and it always doesn't take precedence. What's your thought?
It depends. It really does. I'm all about research, sorry. I think if you're, someone said 5 years, obviously other counties are doing this. I can't give you an answer on that one. I really can't.
I wouldn't see any issue with that.
5 years, stretch it to that. By that time, any estate is gonna be figured out, or somebody's gonna be back from the service, and you will bring it to the board or whatever.
That's true. One thing about extending it to 5 years, and this has been a concern of mine. Got into it, especially with the 1 year, 45 days. Something happened, whether it was like last year, last couple of years, whether the markets or whatever forces someone out of production for a period of time and can't, they can't afford to operate, or there's no value in it. But my concern is that on a shorter period of time is from a financial standpoint, it takes, every one of us have a balance sheet. And on that balance sheet, it says you have fences and wells and concrete feed bunks and all these facilities and all this equipment to operate this thing. They're sitting there, but if you can't utilize that yard, we start that thing back up. I'm wondering where the lending institutions go to on your balance sheets, things like that, where you are leveraged against what they're worth, what you have invested in it, and all of a sudden, you can't start back up. So I'm in favor of at least going to the 5-year thing, get away from the 1-year short-term thing, because we don't know. I mean, my last couple of years have been just a train wreck. Wet weather and stuff, and it's it's gonna take, some of these yards are still really hard to get back into because you crust over the top and you've got sinkholes at the bottom, and it's gonna take 2-3 years of that thing to get reusing and getting opened up and getting them back to where you can actually use them again. And there's just a lot of dirt's gotta be hauled and a lot of different things gotta be happening to make it a facility. So
Well, I think 5 years is more than fair. I
I
don't
think
know
that-
the bankers that are gonna let you do nothing on a piece of property for 5 years and not make it. So, I mean, something's gonna have to be done with it once or, one way or another. And in 5 years, you should be able to figure it out which way to go.
Isn't, if I may,
Yes,
wouldn't 5 years coincide with the change we made in section 520? As far as transfer, we went from 2 years to 5 years there. That would kind of.
And we moved that from 2 to 5.
yeah, we did. Yep, so we'll go with 5 then.
Is that a good compromise for you guys?
I think that's good for you guys.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt. That is a good point.
So we need to play that.
Hey, Kevin, I'll be over tomorrow to count your cows.
What's that?
Wherever you want to have that.
You gotta find it.
Okay, I think it has to actually be amended at 16.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So we need to amend section 16. No, but that's where we would do it.
Why couldn't we add it in? I mean, why couldn't we just add it into the definition of animal feeding operations, or put it in number 1? Just add that line that they want, just add it into the, because that's what these guys are asking for. And I think that's reasonable. I'll tell you the truth.
We need to have a lot of this.
And so,
Currently, we have the definition.
should we say, what do you want to say? How do we want it?
Where's that original definition? Did you see, Joe?
It's on
1605,
number 3.
No, you're talking the 300.
No, grandfather.
Oh, sorry, you were right.
It's in the big book, page 108.
1605, number 3.
What page is that, Paul? 108.
Yeah,
Is that all page numbers? Sorry.
It is. I wish all these documents that were coming out, I think we talked about that, everything was changing. These papers every month.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to put page numbers when you're changing pages every day. It does.
Just have to set it.
Well, we've been, I've actually done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 108.3 is 16. You said it was
1605. You were, he's looking at the new, the act that was handed out.
Oh, I wasn't seeing that's another problem.
But on the old one, it's 1605, paragraph 3.
Yeah, because 108 was on 1609.
Why couldn't we put something like that in there, like number 3, 5 years, and just put it in the definition?
We changed it one place, we gotta change it both.
Well, this would take precedent.
We would say, well, we knew we couldn't.
This section can stay here, but I think what we could do, we can't vote on that one tonight, but our next meeting,
Yeah.
we can make a motion to amend Section
And
16.
1605, yeah.
I will make it
That's
as
a grandfather law.
You'll have to be on the agenda.
The yellow list for 10 days.
Yeah, it's gotta be that. Talk to us again.
Are we talking
Thank
about
you.
just making this amendment into the ag?
I would think personally that would be better, because we're discussing it now, and then that gives you guys the guarantee, we could do it tonight, it's on the agenda, and then everything's taken care of, and we'll come back and take.
I think if you go into the 1605, which is not land uses for other districts other than ag, that there's some really thought given about what we're doing there.
Yeah.
And I think if you could plan that you make a separate amendment to the ag district itself with a 5-year plan or whatever, it's okay, then you don't have to go do the rest of these, because I think we have to, if you're looking at the non-conforming in other districts. there's some serious-
Put it in the definition of, feeding operation or whatever.
We're gonna open up the can of worms.
Well, we don't have time to consider what might be in a different, like commercial district.
Right.
Well,
I would just put,
how about we add it into, you know, we have section 501. Did we do a section 502 and put that in there? You know, non-conforming land use, I'm just throwing out ideas here, it's pretty good, but it's to put that.
I think we're gonna do this, I think we can come and do the whole section. Not just the one that, another 31 there. If you move just the one, you're gonna probably. What would happen if we,
Just write the section 502. Grandfather. There's an open space there, why wouldn't that work?
Oh, what's that?
Section 501, just put a section 502.
Or we could add
Refer
it
to grandfather.
maybe number 4 talks about new operations, we could add in something there.
504. 504, number 4, under 519. We don't have a 504, you saying make 504?
No, I'm saying under 519, paragraph number 4,
Alrighty.
where it talks about new operations, we could put something like that in there that says, because that's what we're talking about.
Yes, that's a good fit.
I don't know. By the time you're into 519, you're already down with conditional use tax. You know,
Do you want to put it just in the definition?
I would put it down.
I could do it. What do you want it to say?
the whole section.
Just 3 or what?
No, don't move just 3, move the whole section.
1605.
Move 1605 over to this.
Well, no, because the grandfather has to apply to other things as well. Are you saying just for the language?
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to use the language here. I thought you were saying delete it from there.
No.
Okay, I see. Just copy and paste that from 1605, number 3.
The animal feeding operation definition.
I think you should be a second. I think.
And we're going to, when we decide now.
I'll make it the
Why don't we just make it a separate section? I don't know if it needs to add it.
If we get it, added in 502, it would
Can
cover
we just
other
do it,
things.
yeah, can we just do it in 502? Just make a section 502 and put it in there?
Also, we want to do
Yeah.
is number 3.
Just that paragraph, to make it 5 years.
think about. Okay, if we move to 1605, send a copy and paste it to 502 as gonna apply to cemetery.
Well, you'll have to.
Well, the point is it's going to apply to the entire section, right?
It will. It will. Great.
So
Why does that happen?
so
No, I'm saying.
just letting people know, if we moved it to that way, and you went to conditional uses, you would say that, I don't know, but
Then churches.
all
bars,
our churches, bars, daycares could be out of operation for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then just come back in operation without getting permitted.
What about, if we could throw it up a little bit, take it, started in section 519, and then operation. Long extension, something like that, we already talked about animal units, about practice, stuff like that. See, what I'm thinking is we gotta make sure that whatever we put in there, this line is specific only to animal feeding operations. It doesn't get construed at 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road. There's a totally different board of people here and say, well, but it says in 1607 that the fireworks stand down the road can't be a fireworks stand anymore. Or it could be because it's been there, it's existed 5 years ago, but it hasn't been existed. So it has to be specific only to animal feed.
And I know Dan says throw it in there too, and I'm not totally opposed to that. My thought was that, I suppose it would be, my thought is that you're already deemed it that it needs to be feed. And then you send it to the C, I'm just looking at flow, and you send it to the CDP section of, performance standards, and then you say, oh, wait a minute, I guess you don't need a CDP, which may not be any work.
Is that where you would like it in paragraph 4, is that where you think the best one is? Or did you have another? Well, that would shift everything.
We need a 4A.
Fine.
4A.
Yeah.
What do we want it to say?
They still need to
Leave that at 1 year. I would leave that at 1 year. Because that's gonna account for everything else. Entire ordinance has to follow that.
So this leaves us with an exception.
Right. This section.
That I would.
Yeah, it's. I think so. That's about what you're thinking.
4A, you got section 4, new animal feeding operations, and then that will put 4A. And we'll put that section. Very non-conforming, number 3. So the number will say 5 instead of 3. You're talking in the new animal feeding operation. Right.
Yep,
We created 4A. And
4A under section 518. And just put it in there.
I think I proposed this before, and I think I had a definition called animal feeding operation existing instead of new. And then I defined what the existing one was, instead of 10 years of non-conformance. And I just did it in the definition. And then what we do is put under C, existing. See definition or something. And that 5-year rule, that would bring to that.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I created, and I don't have that with me. I had created a new definition called animal feeding operation existing. Because I think. Oh, I don't remember what I had for it, but it was a new definition, it's called the animal feeding operation existing, and then it was something along the lines of, call it an animal feeding operation that was in existence prior to zoning. And it wasn't even to zoning, it was any, I think it was like any permitted operation, or any operation that would have been permitted prior to the previous. I'll find it somewhere.
Just usually about grandfather.
Yeah, I know.
Saying it, about the operation that existed prior to the adoption of this ordinance.
Of any, and I think I called out any amended there.
You have that over there?
I know. So we're trying to
find it, or.
Hey, everybody, can we go back to what, on the second page of our amendments here, under definitions? We've got under animal feeding operation or CAFO, common new. Could we kind of use parts of that and just define what a new operation is with some of these terms that we're using? And say operations in existence upon adoption or prior to future amendments may be considered new. And then, if the facility changes classes, changes numbers so that it would change classes, or, then put in terminology for the 5-year issue. That makes sense?
You say that again, Greg, sorry.
Okay, can we, on the second page under definitions where it says animal feeding operation or CAFO, common new, we crossed it all out.
Right.
Can we borrow the first part of that and just, instead of trying to define an existing operation, can we define what a new operation is and then speak about existing operations that have been out of production for up to 5 years would still be considered, grandfathered or whatever terms you wanted to use? Rather than trying to start all over, can we just kind of borrow from this and just define a new operation? Doesn't it do the same thing?
I think that's exactly what I did, Greg.
I think that'd be a better place to put it there than trying to change sections. I agree with you, Greg. Instead of having that whole paragraph was scrapped.
Well, I think we could use the first sentence, which defines what a new operation is. It would be after the effective date of the ordinance or any amendments to any articles or sections, and then operations that are in existence. We could use that part of that second sentence.
There again, Greg, this is where that 300 animal units comes is. Where I don't know if that 300 actually corresponds with our new.
No, I wouldn't use that part. I would stop right there somewhere and just say, it would be considered a new facility, a new AFO, KFO if it met the threshold for the next class, or, but then anything that's been out of production for up to 5 years would still be considered existing, or something to that effect. I'm not saying use that whole paragraph. I'm not saying use that whole definition. I'm just taking the first part of it and trying to get us started, and instead of trying to reinvent the wheel.
Is that kind of what you have, Joe?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I think.
So that we're gonna have to rewrite that paragraph. I think you-
Just add that.
Well, rewrite it because it was there originally.
Joe was to wordsmith a paragraph on existing operations prior to this ordinance or changes. So we could enter, but define that and then have
The amendment.
kind of a separate paragraph of it. Basically, the grandfather.
5 years.
5 years.
Hey, Joe, you're off.
Oh, I just said operations in existence upon adoption or prior to future events. And then I think we can simply put some verbiage, such operations, they operated in a non-conforming status for 5 years. Something similar to that. Or not operate, but if a non-operation, right? If an existing operation ceases operation for less than a 5-year period, if they resume operation without getting a required permit.
At the level that they cease operating.
And that's under section 16 of the plan, that's for forming use, shall be enlarged in any way that increases not.
We leave that one there.
Just leave it there and change this.
Yeah.
I would add a definition. I'd add this definition. And then I'd say existing operations made. What would we say?
In existence prior to.
But this one, he's got here is kind of certain operations, this operations
Existing prior.
So, to the new definition, concentrated animal feeding operations, common existing. Definition.
operations that exist in adoption. So we then we put back at this definition.
Right. We'd say operations in existence upon adoption or prior to future amendments. Such, and then I think we would want to add such operations may cease operation for up to 5 years, or I don't know how, not words.
Well, what comes up with here then. If any such non-conforming use of land ceases for any reason, for a period more than, we're going to change it to 5 years. Any subsequent use of the land, such land shall conform to the regulations specified by this ordinance for the district for which the land is located. We just use that paragraph.
But you're not changing it at 1605.
Okay.
No, that's.
No, we're taking the verbiage from 1605, we're leaving the original in 1605 for other things.
Good, right, okay, that was it, okay.
Okay.
So,
Let's,
second,
let's add it in.
yes, let's just do.
Did you get it when I read it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I move that we include the definition,
We include a definition under the animal feeding operations of the chart.
and it will read, concentrated animal feeding operation existing. Operations in existence upon adoption or prior to future amendments. Then we will insert the number 3 from 1605 with these changes. If any such conforming use of land ceases for any reason for a period of more than 5 years, any subsequent use of such land shall conform to the regulations specified by this ordinance for the district in which such land is located.
Should probably be up to 5 years.
Okay, more than, for a period up to 5 years.
And
Can you read it again, Gary?
That's all right.
Read it again.
We'll get it.
And I think it should be Pecos and right, because if something's not a Peco, it could be an Aco. I mean, is that what it is? Pecos and Acos, not just Pecos.
Because he's not a people, but he's.
I just added as a report.
The beginning?
And then if you could read that one.
Okay, concentrated animal feeding operations existing. Operations that exist in operations capable or capital in existence upon adoption and prior to future amendments. If any such conforming use of the land ceases for any reason for a period up to 5 years, any subsequent use of the land shall conform to the regulations specified by this ordinance for the district in which such land is located. Period.
Sound good to you guys?
Yep.
I think, but I do think you worded it backwards. I think by saying up to 5, it's 5 years and you lose.
In other words, up to, in other words, you can have it vacant, not do anything. If you got 4 years, 11 months, and 38 days, and 28 days, you're still doing it. I've seen things happen like that.
Is that,
That work?
and thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
I mean, that's what public input is for.
That's what we want you for.
Yes.
Okay,
We appreciate
at
that.
this point, then, I move that we accept the amendment to section 519
Under animal feeding operations
Definition.
and definitions.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second to accept the change in the definitions. To include a 5-year period for amending or resuming operations that was in existence prior to. So that's what we're voting on right now, just adding that amendment to what we have. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Healy,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Certainly, yes.
Heavily,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we move forward with the rest of this document.
One question I had, we talked about earlier, and I don't know how we could do it. But on the easement issue, so we could find out the legal.
Well, you can write it, you can tell them you want.
Cool.
Right, but you write it so that it's contingent upon approval of the permit. That's all you have to do.
What if we
That's all you
change
have to do.
should, shall to should? How's that? Okay, how about we change shall to should?
But only for the, only for the.
For the manure easement.
For the manure easement.
Yeah.
Just for the
And the reason I think that is, the reality, you guys got a business like that. Somebody puts up a barn, he's renting the ground, and it's his uncle sells it to somebody else. Now he doesn't have that, what does he do if he loses 300-400 acres? He's in a tough spot. And so, yeah, I think that's the type of thing we need to look at. That is the reality of the union town happening, and certainly in Iowa. You know, it does happen, so I'm fine with changing it to shall to should. I'm on number 9A. Is that where you're at, Dennis?
Sure is, I just.
Yeah. And then, so it would read all land and management plan that is not owned by the applicant. It says shall, and we could should have manure easement completed prior to the county application.
Okay, I would go with that, the state should have conditional. Manure. In other words, if it doesn't pass, they don't have the easement.
That's fair.
That makes sense. So what was that again, Paul? Say they should have additional easements. So in other words, basically what that would mean is if it passes, you have the easement. If it doesn't pass it, you don't have it. That makes sense. I don't know. Well, it does, as long as it's in the legal world, if you can do these easements and just put these conditions on.
Yeah, absolutely, you
Yeah, and you know,
can. Yes, absolutely, you can. Because we had a person who had an easement for a driveway, and that easement was written in such a way that if she gets her own parking lot, she no longer has that easement to drive. We sold a piece of property, and they read that easement, and they said, that's it, you can't park in her driveway anymore. It's gone, because now you have your own parking lot. So you can write that easement however you want.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I guess
I have personal experience.
Easements can be released as well. I mean, it works both ways, you know,
Right.
both sides.
You release it under X, blah, 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 or not.
And I think we gotta have faith in, you know, people who are gonna sit in this chair in 10 years from now that, you know, they'll make the right decision to make sure that we'll. We can't foresee every scenario out there.
Could you, not to back it up, and I'm kind of okay with it, the thing is, what about this? If the applicant showed up for his conditional easement and had manure easement agreements signed by people that he was going to get them with, which would, they wouldn't actually be recorded easements until that went through. Then you would have to record it.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
All I do is insert the word conditional for the manure.
Yeah, that's perfectly, but, you know, I think that's a good thing. We just want to make sure that, you know, both the producer and that.
I did not realize that you get, I listened to your discussion, I do, that you explained it tonight, and saying, okay, now they have an easement forever. Right.
Well, yeah, that's.
I didn't know.
I used the easement, is okay, you have it, Phil.
Yeah.
So how would it read, all land in the nutrient management plan that is not owned by the applicant should have conditional manure easements completed prior to the county permit application?
What if you just say, you can take out conditional, just say specific to the electrical permit? That'd be kind of depending permit or something. If the permit failed,
Well, that's what I was,
Yeah.
saying.
I should support that, that's a good idea. How would we reword that?
Contingent
Just so you
upon
understand.
approval of this permit.
No, that makes sense.
Contingent upon approval of this permit. That would be.
That's good.
Madam Council, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's 9A. This is right here.
I'd say manure easements specific to applicable permit application.
I don't think we need to make a motion. As long as we have what we said.
Let's make a motion. We did it on the-
All right, all right.
So what I just said it by the applicant shall have manure easement specific to applicable permit application completed prior to the county permit. So I insert specific to applicable permit application. And that's my suggestion, but I do, I don't have a big concern with it, I just, I go back to like the tile, we require easements as part of the application. Maybe we should do the same thing with drainage. Because we don't require anything, if that drainage application were to fail, I would still have that easement across your property. Or to occupy that. Maybe that actually should be changed.
Right, exactly. No.
No, but,
No, that's the.
the easement thing is always, really, conditional, conditions under or whatever, stuff like that. But once you gain access to the right of somebody else's property, then it becomes someplace down the line, it
real more invest.
Yeah, like.
That was a good change. Thank you for mentioning that.
All right, so put in the form of a motion.
Okay. Under proposed changes, 519(9)(a), proposed move to add the verbiage specific to applicable permit application in the sentence, it shall have new easements specific to applicable permit application completed prior to the county permit.
I can agree with restate.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I'll just read from the top of page, management plan that is not owned by the applicant shall have newer easements specific to applicable permit
right, we have a motion and a second. We'll call vote when you're ready. Harms,
Yes.
Frame,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hembley,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Schultz. Yes. Williams,
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
Anything else we need to discuss before we move forward on voting on the proposed changes? We spent a lot of time and effort and compromises and would like to actually get something accomplished. I mean, not that we haven't accomplished things during the whole process.
Thank you for everybody.
Yes, and thank you all of you for all your extra time, giving up your personal time to try and make this thing.
I want to, I want to thank you because there are things I didn't know, that's why I made you a motion that I didn't.
I still feel that some of these young guys who came forward tonight are very concerned about these animal numbers as am I. One thing is, you say we're gonna have, what is gonna be our conditional use? What are we gonna tell those people they're gonna have to do? Is that in our guidelines? Because I've had that question, they say, well, we gotta come get a permit. What is that permit going to, what are we going to have to do to on this program? What are we gonna have to do? Is that in our bylaws already?
Or
is it just a crapshoot?
Are you talking about like what the conditions?
50 over.
See, I mean, look, like a good example tonight is a campground. Not all campgrounds require it, but I mean, you and I both thought it was necessary to put a fence in there and have no year-round residents. That was appropriate to that site. It might not be appropriate to the next one. And I think a couple years ago, Zane, didn't we put a chain link fence or some type of fence on another one down the way? So I think.
Starts with it.
Yeah, that's what. Thank you. So here's the thing, if we put in here that you have to follow this and this and this, I think there'll be more conditions on it than less. And I think if a guy, like that one we did in Janesville, out in the middle of nowhere, didn't need a lot of conditions. But if we're putting one, say next to Louisville or something like that, maybe it needs a few more conditions. Maybe the citizens of Gateway would be perfectly fine with one right next to them that have fire filters, and then I'd say, you know what, we're fine with it, just do this for us. And everybody's happy. But if we put a huge thing of all the things that might happen, I think people who that condition might not be appropriate might have more on it than is necessary. That's just my thought, and I hope.
I don't know,
And I would think that question. Right, but there's gonna be a minimal amount of things, and like you said, it all depends on where it is, where it's sited. And it's not gonna be always the same. Because you don't know what people do.
One question, and that's along the same line I have. As we're going through all the setbacks and things like that, and of course, when we're approving, plots for a house being built out, and stuff like that. Do we have anything in here that protects existing units from a house being built? And what I'm getting at is that we're set back to that existing animal feeding operation. Aren't they only?
They're not gonna want to be.
Well, I understand that, but that didn't happen in White House a couple times years ago. But what I'm saying is they should be afforded the same, or the feedlot should be afforded, or the feeding operation should be afforded the same setback as the house requires for their property. And I'm not after a right to farm statutes or anything like that, but what I
Yeah, we
want
talked about that.
there's a
It's
place in
just
there
that
that talks about waivers, providing the waivers. So, but is there teeth in that as far as you have to sign that waiver? If we're gonna, if you wanna plot out and build a house there and there's an existing feeding operation next to it, is that part of the condition on that person that's gonna build a house on that lot, that they have to sign that waiver?
And the same setbacks of the 4 mile.
We could have put that in that variance tonight, and we could have done something like that.
Yeah. In this situation, they're saying, isn't the animal unit already grandfathered in when they built that house? Did they build a new house
Their
there?
animals are already there.
The animals are already there. So they're grandfathered in, so I can't build one next door and say, okay, now I'm gonna sue you.
No. They're already grandfathered in.
Because you're already
They're
there.
already in
They're
existence.
already there,
Yeah, so it's
Now,
really a non-issue.
I'm
That's a
just
non-issue.
from the point of, somebody moves in next to me, my operation, I've been in operation prior to zoning grandfather.
Right, your grandfather, yeah, it doesn't affect you.
Somebody somehow, because of abandoned farmstead, is gonna get a chance to build on it, they're supposed to be.
But it doesn't matter because you're already grandfathered in. When it's
See, you're
operation.
covered.
So you're already there.
And plus, I would think,
And
at my dad, if somebody comes and wants to do that, and they come to form zoning, as a person on zoning, I don't know what that person is, now you realize you're 75 foot from this animal feeding unit. There's nothing you can do about that. That's what I would tell
well, they're already there.
them, because they're already there, and you're coming in new.
So I mean, it's not.
So you guys,
Feels real good until they sue you.
right,
Well, and with our subdivision ordinance now, lots have to go through the planning commission and some commission, so there'll be that opportunity. Before there was minor plat. Now they're all coming to us. So that there is a difference, I think that goes in effect.
Can I make one comment, please? Back in Bonham County, we had this issue many years ago with hog barns. We would consider that moving into a nuisance. If the established barn, cattle yard, whatever is there, if somebody wants to put a house in the middle of it, you moved into that.
Right.
You got not, that's right.
that's your choice.
Did they sign a waiver or not?
Not that I'm aware of. Because some changed their mind. When it came to the hog barn issues, some actually changed, it was a way to, they thought, of stopping them, and then they just never did. So, yeah.
Any other discussion, or can we vote on this?
Heard about any variance requests tonight, last meeting was variance requests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that later. One problem at a time. I would entertain a motion.
I move we accept the changes for section.
Article 5.
Article 5.
Okay,
Is that proper, will that motion work, Gary? Yes.
good motion, do we have a second?
But are you also then recommending this? At this point, or what are you
Well, we
doing?
have to see how we vote first, and then if we all, if it's approved, then we would recommend it. So, yeah.
Okay, I can go.
No, we're not gonna vote twice.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay.
I move we recommend Article 5 to the county commission with changes, amended changes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote when you're ready.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Healy,
No.
Harn,
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
We're gonna have public comment again.
Yep, we haven't even decided, oh, we're gonna do our plans, wait, let's work, that's gonna do that.
I don't even, and I'm not disagreeing.
We have to do a class for that. You need a 5-minute break?
Yeah, let's take I was making a motion for a 5-minute break.
All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Just send a message. Once things. Just send them a message.
Dan, I have him unmuted.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
All right. This meeting is called back to order, please. And you need to go through our class. I'm just going to read off the top of the list here, and then we'll vote on each one. Plat of lot 7 in Yankton Estates, located in the west half of the south. 12.91 acres of the south half of the southwest corner of section 7, and in the west half of section 18. Sorry. Should I start over? Is it recording?
It's recording and it's not.
Goodbye.
Right. At about 7 in Yankton Estates, located in the west half of the south 12.91 acres of the south half of the southwest quarter of section 7, and in the west half of section 18, lying north of Highway accept platted areas known as traps, 7th edition, and accept lots 1 and 2 of parcel A, and further accepting parcels B and C. McVeigh addition, all being in tract 93 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. All right.
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the plat. Roll call vote.
Hanson,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank.
Motion carried. Okay, next plat. Plat of lots 53 and 54, Crestview Homes subdivision in the northeast quarter of section 21, T93 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton, South Dakota.
Move approval.
Let Joe.
Yes. And then I second it.
Roll call when you're ready.
Headley,
Yes.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Approved. Select. Lots 1 and 2 of the Pin edition. Is that supposed to say pain or
No,
it's PIN?
it's PYN.
Okay, thank you. In the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of section 6, T93 north, range 54 west of the 5th PM, Yankton, South Dakota. Yankton County, South Dakota.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Clemish,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Headley.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, plat of lots 20 and 29, Crestview Homes subdivision in the northeast quarter of section 21, 293 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton, South Dakota.
Approval. One.
Second. You.
Thank you. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Michael.
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Harms,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Headley.
Yes.
Oh, Clemish.
Yes.
All right. Motion carried. Replat of Kaufman Tract 2, except for the Smith addition. Lot 1 of the Kaufman Tract 2 and that portion of Kaufman Tract 1, all being in the north half of the northeast quarter of section 15, T93 north, range 57 west of the 5th PM, now to be known as K6 edition in the north half of the northeast quarter of section 15, T93 north, range 57 west of the 5th PM in Yankton County, South Dakota.
assume this came in fairly late.
Yeah, it's all signed.
All that, good signed and good, okay.
Yep. Yeah, these next two came in.
Trying to make the accommodations as much as we can as we discussed.
They came in time for the agenda. They just came in.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Finish.
Nothing has to be signed, Jen?
Nope, all the
You just
signatures are there now.
Okay, I guess that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, when we're ready.
Michael?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Harms?
Yes.
Spring?
Yes.
Hanson? And,
Greg?
Yes, he said.
sorry, I couldn't hear you. Headley?
Yes.
Clemish?
Yes.
Motion carried. Hey, of lot 20 in Baycliff Estates located in the west half of the south 12.91 acres of the south half of the southwest quarter of section 7. West half and west half of section 18, lying north of Highway 52, except the platted areas known as Tract 7 addition, and except lots 1 and 2 of parcel A, and further accepting parcels B and C in Bay addition, all being in Tract 93 North, Range 56 West, and Yankton County, South Dakota.
Second, finish.
Williams?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Harms?
Yes.
Spring?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
Clemish?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes. Motion carried. Okay, now, do we have any people signed up for public comment?
Just come on up if you said. Come on up.
Excuse me a minute.
Township. The last time I was here, I said it, and I will say it again, I think you're setting the county up for lawsuits because this is so one-sided and regulating the livestock part of agriculture. When I look at this, I see just in waste management that there are a number of things. Aquaculture, how's more from aquaculture? Why is there nothing specific about that? We create a lot. Auction yards and barns, bed and breakfast. So we get into the whole human piece, acreages. Where is that waste spread? So if I look at number 28, municipal, commercial, residential, et cetera, need a conditional use permit. Do they need a management plan? It should. Human waste has more chemicals in it than agriculture waste ever has. We have legal drugs, we have illegal drugs, and we have household chemicals that go into that. And none of that is addressed in here. There's no restrictions on anything that has to do with human waste, but there is on animal waste. And believe me, there are more people in houses that create that waste. There's more livestock, I will grant you that, but it's not as hot. There's also nothing in about grain farming. Any restrictions, there's none on that. I said it last time and I'm going to say it again. I think you're setting the county up for more
lawsuit. Okay, thank you. Anyone? Yeah, just go ahead.
Good evening, Sean Ludwig. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and board, the rest of the board. I'm from Bonham County, and kind of watching here what you guys are doing tonight. I would like to thank you all on behalf of the Heart of Education work that you've done something and put something in place other than putting it up to the county commissioners to vote on this as well. And our interests, we're kind of following along. We kind of always, Bondham's always kind of followed anything vote. So it's kind of this alignment ourselves to present to our board as well. So again, I'd like to say thank you guys for the dedication and work that you guys did do. And, see where it goes moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, John Gunderson, he's still here? Yeah, I think that's probably what we were talking about. I'm guessing. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak that's still present?
Are we allowed to speak a second time?
Yes, you should.
I asked for 1 minute, it was probably.
Cool.
Well, I don't think I need to. I have to say, I hope I didn't come across as being against livestock, these livestock industry of any kind in our county. My husband and I farmed, it'll be 48 years. He passed away last year, so now I farm with my son and daughter-in-law. I am not against livestock. I tell you what I am for. Communication, consideration, respect. What I see happening in our county is what, that's all about, respect. That's all.
And what was your name again now?
Mary Jo Bowder.
Bowder?
Right.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you all for coming.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Can I speak up one thing?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but Greg is leaving us. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say what a pleasure it was to get to know you, Greg, and thank you for your hard work and dedication to Yankton County. And I'd ask maybe we give him a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't know, Christy, if you had gotten the email. I sent that to you today, but just forwarded it. I sent it to Sherry first, but I guess she's out of town. So it's been kind of a whirlwind, but we are going to be leaving Yankton County. So I just don't have a choice but to leave you on the commission. But thanks for allowing me to work with you. And I hope we made some good changes and made some progress and things that'll maybe help going in the future. But thank you all for allowing me to serve. So thanks.
Well, thank you for your service. Okay, there's still one item on there, discussion on possible ordinance changes. We're going to do anything with that now, or you just- Let's adjourn. All right, so we need a motion to adjourn.
Already did.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Sealing. I'm gonna see it.